Okay, we'll get started. We'd like to welcome our defending champions of the Zurich Classic of New Orleans, Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. We'll get started with you. Xander, if you can just take us back to last year, how your team gelled and getting the win here.
Yeah, we played great last year. We got off to a really good start and had that cushion coming into Sunday. So if we could do something of that nature, that's what we're shooting for.
And your recollections last year as well, Patrick?
Yeah, we got off to a hot start and kept it going, Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday we kind of had a lead and just played smart all the way in.
Both of you guys, really good form so far this year, but both still looking for a win. Just comment a little bit about how this format playing together, how that can help you get that done again this week.
Well, it helps having a really good partner. We're both playing pretty good golf coming off of a solid week, so yeah, I think sometimes two minds is better than one, especially when they're both working well.
Yeah, I think it's an advantage having another great player as my partner, and so should be a good week. It's a golf course that we're comfortable with by now, and hopefully we can defend this thing.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. We'll open it up to questions. Not all at once. Yep, we'll start right here.
Patrick, I know you were asked, I'm sure, in Hilton Head, but that pitch shot off the bulkhead that you hit, is that something that you can ever anticipate or practice? And seeing that you have kind of similar things here, could you anticipate maybe having that kind of shot here or somewhere around the green?
Hopefully not.
I hope not.
Hopefully not, but yeah, with the bulkheads, railroad type.
Yeah, we play a number of Pete Dye golf courses, and so I think by now a lot of the guys on tour are used to a lot of those par threes that are pretty extreme with the water right up to the green. There's a few here this week, but I definitely hope I'm not in a similar spot. It was a bad spot.
Hey guys, you all were able to win wire to wire last year. I know that's hard to do in any tournament. Is it any different challenge as a team? Is it more difficult, or is there any difference at all in trying to wire the field?
I think it's easier as a team. You kind of share the burden of stress and anxiety that comes to winning a golf tournament versus it just being all on your own. And if you hit a bad shot, obviously when you're playing a tournament by yourself, you have to pick yourself up. And this rare opportunity, with this tournament and one other this year, most years, your partner can pick you up when you're down. So I think it's probably a little bit easier to go wire to wire in this team thing. Obviously, you can go backwards as well. If you're feeding off each other in the wrong way, or one guy's kind of dragging and you can't pick him up yourself, it can go that way. But I think with Pat and I, we play so much together that more times than not, we're going to pick each other up when one of us isn't doing so well.
Day to day, how much strategy, or is there much?
Feels kind of like clockwork now.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much. We look at some of the stats from ShotLink to make sure that we're hitting the right clubs off the tees and stuff. But for the most part, we've played this tournament. This will be our third time playing together now, and so I think we're kind of into a routine and not much extra strategizing going on.
All right, let's go Brody and then MK.
Xander, I remember a year ago it was almost kind of like a joke of like, was that win going to launch you to winning more individual events? And then obviously you did. Where would you describe where you're at right now with your game in terms of, okay, you've gotten that conversation out of the way of winning more events and trying to go on and win bigger things?
You're always trying to win more every year, all the time, every tournament. So anything that can sort of propel you in that direction is something that's really helpful. And if we can use this week to help ourselves win more this year, then we're definitely going to do that.
Okay. Yep. Adam.
Guys, Matt Fitzpatrick said that the pace of play on the PGA Tour is disgraceful, to call it appalling. Do you agree with that?
I think that's the Tour's job to sort of take a stance there. All the things that have happened as of late have all been within the guidelines of the tour and what's supposed to happen. No one's been penalized for slow play or anything of that nature. So we're all operating within the framework of what the tour gives us. And if enough people complain, or if enough tour pros complain, and I think it's something the tour needs to address to either make it faster or change the time par. But without any context, it gets tricky because when you set up golf courses with stimp 13 or 14 greens, tees in interesting positions, and pins in tough spots, it's just going to take longer. We're not playing like the local muni that sort of the average Joe sort of compares our time par to. We're playing for a couple $3.6 million, and if you're going to spend an extra minute to make sure you put yourself in the right spot, we're going to do it. That's just the nature of our game and our sport.
I mean, like I said, being on the PAC's been interesting because the times that it's taken to play rounds has been pretty much the same for the last 10 or even longer years. And so trying to speed it up, I'd be curious to know how they'd want to do that. I mean, I've played the last 2 tournaments, and my group hasn't been warned at all. So we've been in position the entire time. So I don't know how you would want even the groups that I've been in to play faster when our groups are in position and can't go faster because the group in front of us is right in front of us.
Do you feel like you are a slow player, though?
Yeah, I'm definitely slower than average, have been my whole career, and I definitely take my time. And when I hit my ball on a bulkhead, I'm definitely going to take my time to make sure I make the right decision and try and get the ball back into the right spot.
All right, let's go over here to MK.
Hey guys, we all know that Ryder Cups, President Cups teams, you have a celebration after a victory. How did y'all celebrate as a 2-man team?
After last year?
Yeah, after last year.
What did we do?
We just hung out with the team, had a good time, and
Dinner, some drinks, I think. Something
yeah,
of that nature.
hung out in the team room.
All right, let's go. Yeah, right behind you.
So yesterday, Max Homa said, Xander, that you were the most underrated trash talker out there on the course. So I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Wow. That's an interesting call out. It's the first of its kind for me. I like to have fun. I like to needle at people. Just like every child on the planet, if you don't like being needled, just ignore me. That's kind of how that works. So when people start ignoring me, then I move on to the next target.
All right, back row over here on the right.
You guys have been playing a lot of golf lately. Are you worried coming into this week about fatigue?
I mean, I wouldn't say we're worried. We're kind of like camels. We just walk and walk and walk and walk until we drop, basically. But it's early enough in the year. Yeah, we're probably more tired than we would like to be, but for the most part, I mean, a couple good nights of sleep and some good food here in New Orleans can save the day. So I think we're both fine.
I mean, you two are basically paired together in events like this, and the Ryder Cup seems like forever now. I mean, is there ever a point where you're like, hey, maybe I do want to just see something else, or are you guys really just like, you are my partner kind of forever?
I mean, put it like that, yeah. We don't have friendship,
dramatic,
we don't have friendship bracelets yet, Maybe we'll get those worked out after this week, but yeah, I mean, we both like winning, whether we're playing against each other or not, and if we can team up and feel like we have a better chance to win, we're going to do it.
And then Patrick, I mean, you're going to ask about pace of play a lot these last few weeks. I mean, and you've answered it well. But how much have you talked to other players on tour, I guess, about that issue? Because some have called you out.
I haven't had anybody come up to me or talk to me, but I'd be perfectly happy to talk to them about it.
Back over on this side. A couple more guys. Yep.
For both players, the people who come to a lot of these tournaments, obviously there's a lot of talk about the future schedule of the PGA Tour, what's going to happen with these elevated events and everything. What place, for both of you, what place do you see tournaments like this, the John Deere, the Valspar, having in the tour schedule? Because to help ensure that you continue to go forward, that there's tournaments every week. It's not just an elevated tournament or a major.
Yeah, I think next year you'll probably see these tournaments have stronger fields than they have historically. Next year the FedEx Cup seasons go in January to August, and so there'll be much more of an impetus on trying to play as well as you can in the short time frame to try and make it to the playoffs. And so I think these tournaments going forward, especially next year as we get through this transition year, the tournament fields should be stronger than ever.
You guys are both obviously elite level players, very accomplished. How does a title defense, when you two pair up, feel different than a normal week on tour when you're defending a title?
I'm not sure it feels too different. I feel like when you're defending a title, you come into the week with a little higher expectation, which can be good and can be bad. I think it's nice to come to a tournament knowing that you can win and have won the tournament. It's obviously a golf course that you like and a tournament that you like, and so I think we'll just try and keep carrying all the good momentum from last year into this year.
And Xander, the trash talk, I'd asked Max and Colin if they would trash talk you guys, and they said Pat would just be stone face and Xander would be the only one to be able to really give anything back. So I was curious if there would be a friendly SoCal rivalry, because they're kind of the other marquee team coming in as one of the favorites.
There really isn't trash talking in golf. It's just not a thing in golf. I think when we're at home and we're playing.
Yeah, that's more what I like coming into it.
Yeah, 5-ball at home. If someone has an important putt, I don't think we'd get so too low to the point where we're gonna like make a sound while they're swinging, but definitely point a few things out to them before they're gonna hit the shot. Yeah, I mean it's all in good nature. It definitely makes a day, or it makes practice more fun when you can kind of needle up guys and guys give you reactions. But yeah, out here it's not like it's just not a physical sport. There's not contact, so there's no sort of interaction that would be aggressive of any nature, verbally or physically. So yeah, at home there's time for it, but out here it's all professional.
All right, we'll take our last one with Adam. Let's see for you guys. This tournament helps in terms of finding teams that work together in Ryder Cup President's Cup. Do you guys gain anything from being a team in this tournament?
I think just comfort. I think it'd be fair to say that you could, find a team that would be good, but there's so many different stats out now, and the guys are so good at analyzing the data now that, you could have a lot of like really good hypothetical teams, but at the end of the day, the players competing or that are on the same team need to like each other. So that's a really big part of the chemistry. And so you have to answer your question. Yeah, I think it's fair to say, you could find a really good team here that you may not have thought of. But for the most part, I think when it comes to pairing up teams for these President's Cups or Ryder Cups or these events, there's so much data out there that could point, to the top 5 teams already.
I don't practice with much music. I don't play it when I play at home or anything like that, but I think some tournaments you'll see it at and others you won't. It'd be hard to imagine the Masters warming up with music on the range. But if another tournament feels like they'll be able to draw more people in with music, then I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, it varies. When Pat and I are playing a money game at home, there's no music. If we were playing with our caddies and they're, we wouldn't be drinking, but they'd probably be drinking, there'd probably be some music. So it just, it's all situational. And then, yeah, pretty much back up Pat's point, I think, if a tournament can make more money and feel more comfortable with the venue, with a lot of music, Waste Management, for example, it's a big party. But, would we like to see Waste Management every week? Probably not. It's just not really the best thing for, myself personally in terms of competing at a really high level all the time. It'd probably wear me out too soon if we had to do that every single week. But yeah, every once in a while I think it makes it fun and it's a nice break.
All right, Patrick, Xander, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.